The police knew there'd be a demonstration on Saturday. 2 days before, the anti-monarchy group Republic tweeted, "May the 6th, we protest the coronation." And it had been talking to the police.
We had 4 months of briefings in which we were told that all of our plans were absolutely acceptable and fine and well within the law.
The Met hasn't commented on what contact there was in advance, but early on Saturday, as London waited to host the coronation, Republic and its supporters arrived for their protest. Some came in a van and parked on St Martin's Lane, close to Trafalgar Square, close to the route of the King's procession. And then the police intervened. They confiscated signs reading "Not My King," and Republic's leader, Graham Smith, was arrested, as were other members of the group. The protest they'd organised would go ahead, but without them.
Not my king! Not my king!
And the police had an update for us. They tweeted, "Earlier today we arrested 4 people in the area of St Martin's Lane. They were held on suspicion of conspiracy to cause public nuisance. We seized lock-on devices." Later the Met confirmed there had been 6 arrests and that the sole reason related to lock-on devices. Now that phrase connects to the Public Order Act, which was brought in last week. It introduced new criminal offences of locking on and going equipped to lock on. All of that is in response to protests like this last year, where protesters lock on or attach themselves to things to cause disruption. And this is the government's justification for the new law.
In a democracy, we make policy through civilised debate and at the ballot box, not through mob rule and not by visiting chaos and misery on our fellow citizens.
And the key here is that it's now a crime to go equipped to lock on. In other words, to have the intention to do it. And the police used this law on Saturday. They say they found items which at the time they had reasonable grounds to believe could be used as lock-on devices. Republic says the devices were luggage straps.
So they were there to strap the placards to the trolleys we had so we could very quickly and efficiently move them to where we were protesting and get out of everyone's way. And those straps were, it was physically impossible to lock on, as they call it, with their straps because they're so easily adjustable in length.
And then Mr Smith goes further.
They hadn't seen them at the point at which they detained us. They found them later on after they searched the van.
The BBC can't confirm this allegation and the Met hasn't commented. But the police do now say they were unable to prove intent to use them to lock on and disrupt the event. But as Saturday continued, King Charles was crowned and Graham Smith and others remained in custody. At 11:30 on Saturday night, Mr Smith tweeted, "I'm now out of the police station, still waiting for my colleagues." They would all be released. Republic declared these arrests are a direct attack on our democracy. And on Monday, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was asked about the police.
They'll make these decisions based on what they think is best, and actually I'm grateful to the police and everyone who played a part in ensuring that this weekend has gone so well, so successfully and so safely.
The Met Police Federation chairman echoed those sentiments, saying the police had done an incredible job and that
if individuals intend to cause an incident which will affect others near them, around them, or part of their actions, then we take action.
In this case, though, all available evidence suggests the intention was to hold a peaceful protest. And then on Monday evening, the story shifted again. A new police statement said, "We regret that those 6 people arrested were unable to join the wider group of protesters in Trafalgar Square and elsewhere on the procession route." It went on that it was not clear at the time that at least one of the groups stopped had been engaging with police. In other words, as Republic arrived for a protest that it had told the police about, at least one of the people who had told the police about it was arrested. We then heard from Graham Smith, who tweeted, "This evening, 3 Met police officers visited my home to hand back my phone and the luggage straps. They apologised while wearing a body cam. I made it clear the apology is not accepted, as we will be taking further action." And while police actions are being scrutinised, so is the new law that they enforced.
My concern was it was too crude, too poorly defined, and you see it right here with this.
David Davis was the only Tory MP to vote against the Public Order Act. His words closely match one former senior chief constable who calls the law very poorly defined and far too broad. Or as my colleague Daniel Sanford says, there were concerns that
on this very, very first occasion that it was used, some people have ended up spending 16 hours in a police station because of some luggage straps in the back of a hire van.
On Tuesday, the police again defended their actions, talking about the unique, fast-moving nature of the day, talking about the scale of the security operation, and all of this to and fro cuts to a central question.
Protesting can take place in this country, as you well know, but it's to the level at which you want to perform that protesting that we have to balance and deal with.
The question is how that balance is struck, and the government has suggested that this weekend the calculation was different.
I think they were quite right to take into account the context of the event as a whole. We were on the global stage. There were 200 foreign dignitaries in the UK, in London, at an event.
The UK was on the global stage, and on Saturday the world saw the coronation of King Charles III, an anti-monarchy protest, and the arrest of the protest organiser under a new public order law. All of that was what the world saw.